So I'm sure a lot of you know that there was no Halo Infinite release date at E3. Phil Spencer has made a comment about it, and I want to talk about that. But before we get on to the video, definitely hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. You can always subscribe to the channel for weekly content. And don't forget to go over there on my Twitter and follow me at Lord Addict ILP. Without any further ado, let's talk about Halo Infinite and whether or not it's coming out this year. What's going on, you guys? Gaming out here, coming at you for another video. We're going to be talking about Halo Infinite today. You know that this franchise, this game in particular, is very important to me, and I feel like Halo Infinite is definitely a very important game to the Xbox Series X and exactly how the industry takes Halo Infinite, because it might be a cross-gen game, but a lot of people are seeing this is one of the reasons to pick up an Xbox Series X, and it's supposed to be really kind of a showcase this summer on what kind of fun, how games look, exactly what you can play on that console. Everyone knows that Halo Infinite didn't have a release date when it came to the E3 showing. They actually showed a very positive trailer of the campaign, and they showed a really good look at what we're going to be playing in terms of multiplayer. But that entire hype that I had was ruined by one thing. At the very end of that, it said holiday 2021. And to me, when you don't see a release date this close to the holiday of 2021, the first thing I thought to myself is this game's getting delayed. It's going to be in 2022. You guys know on the Iron Lords podcast, that's one of the first things that I said is, look, I don't think this game's coming out this year. I think it's going to be pushed back to next year. But it does look like Phil Spencer came on a podcast and he gave a little bit more insight in terms of what's going on with Halo Infinite and the release date that they lack to show in E3 of 2021. Pretty much in this podcast, it's called the Dropped Frames podcast. I'll definitely put the source in the description below. Definitely go over there, give it a like, listen to it. It's actually a very good podcast. They asked him point blank, and one thing I can really appreciate about this podcast is how direct they were. I know that when you have people such as Phil Spencer on, sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking on how you want to approach certain questions, because you're thinking, man, I don't want to upset this dude. I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. I want him to have a good show, and I want him to really enjoy talking to us. So sometimes it's really hard to decide what you want to ask someone like Phil Spencer and what you don't want to ask him. And I like how direct they were. They just like, look, I'm going to be paraphrasing, obviously. This is going to be in my words, not theirs. But they're like, look, Phil, I love Halo. It did not have a release date. What's going on? Why didn't you show me a release date at this event? And he kept it real with them, man. And I really like how chill Phil Spencer is when you interview him. He tries to be as realistic and just down to earth with you as he possibly can. And he just said, look, we do have certain dates in mind, but we have nothing down concrete. And I like what he brought up, because he said in this interview that the biggest thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to have to delay it. And I agree with him. It would be a tragedy if this game is even delayed a week. Sure, a week isn't going to kill them. People would eventually get over it. But if this game was delayed a week, it'd be like, look, man, Xbox, you have delayed this multiple times. Why is it being delayed again? So I do think that he is making the right call. Xbox is making the right call. And to, instead of giving you a release date, and it looked like they do have a window. It's not up to months, he said. It's pretty much down to days. They do have a month in the year that they want to release Halo Infinite. They just, it looks like they want to see more in terms of games coming out in the industry. I don't know if they're talking about a certain platform or they're talking about Sony. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it did look like he wanted to see a little bit more information in terms of what's coming out before they decided to give a straight release date for Halo Infinite. And I commend them for that, because at the end of the day, we've seen games come out such as Tomb Raider. We've seen games come out such as Titanfall 2 where the wrong release date can kill a game just as bad as the game being bad. A game can be amazing, and if it has the wrong release date, the game might as well have sucked. And I know that sounds pretty harsh, but I'm just telling you, in terms of release date, it matters. And I know that a lot of games have different genres and different people that appeal to them, but at the end of the day, you want to be very, very observant to what's going on in the industry and what games are coming out that month, and you want to have your titles have a little bit of a breathing room. Halo is a big enough title that it could survive a lot of games, but if it can, doesn't necessarily mean it should. If you can have a couple weeks just to Halo, then I want Microsoft to give them just to Halo. I don't want Microsoft to feel like Halo has to compete. It doesn't. let other people breathe, Microsoft, to release Halo at a time to where it can do and it can thrive on its own. And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later after that, something like Battlefield comes out. But I do feel like right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it can't compete with bigger titles such as Call of Duty, such as Battlefield. All I'm saying is, do they really have to? If they can have a couple weeks to themselves, why do they have to put themselves out there and compete with these higher shooter brands when they don't necessarily have to do that if they can give them their own couple weeks just to them? And that's just my opinion on the matter. I know a lot of people feel like Halo is such a big brand, and it is, but to me, I want what's best for Halo, not what's best for Xbox's ego, if that makes sense to you guys. But, you know, that's exactly what Phil Spencer said. Not exactly, like I said, I was putting it in my own words. I will put the podcast in the description. Definitely go out there and check that out. They did a fantastic show. Hit that like button on there. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you can always hit the like button on this channel. But, you know, I definitely appreciate the patience you guys have had with me. I am still a little under the weather, but this was such good information in terms of Halo. I wanted to get out there and make the video, man. I love this franchise and I love this brand, and I want this brand to do better. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Is Halo Infinite something that you feel can compete with something like Call of Duty or Battlefield? Or do you feel like myself, like just because you can't compete with them doesn't necessarily mean you have to? Let's put that out there, give it a couple weeks to itself, and let's get this Halo Infinite popping. But that's just my opinion. Put in the comment section below your opinion, because I definitely want to read it, and I will be responding to some of you guys. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace.